Hello, dear students. Today we'll go for the gravitation. Dear students, everyone feels that physics is hard, physics is hard, physics is hard. But physics is very, very, very easier subject when we know the basics of the physics and concepts of the physics. Here, there are small concepts behind the every problem. First, when we want to solve the problem, first we observe that what are the concepts involved in that problem. Here, physics is very, very easy, but from our school level, we feel that, and some of the lecturers, some of the teachers are also says that physics is hard, physics is hard. But physics is very, very easy subject when we know the some of the basic formulas of the mathematics and we know the concepts, then we can easily do the problems. We can easily do the every problem. Dear students, in every exam, that may be JEE Advanced or JEE Mains or NEET or MSET, in every exam, there will be minimum 60% of the questions based on the easy level. In any competitive exam, there will be 60% of the questions based on the easy level. After that, 20% of the questions based on the just logical questions. After that, 20% are based on the difficulty level. If you know the concept, this 20% difficulty level is also we can easily do the we can easily solve the problems. First of all, mainly we must have the confidence. We can easily do the every problem. If that confidence in your solving the when you are solving the problems, then you can easily solve the problems. Nana, first of all, physics law. If you have the confidence, then you can easily do the problems. If you have no confidence, then if it is 2 plus 3, we say that is the 6. If you have confidence, we can easily say 2 plus 3 is nothing but 5. But when we have no confidence, that is the 2 into 3 part we can write, that is the sum 5. So that if you have the confidence, you can easily do the problems. So first of all, today we go to discuss about the some concepts on the gravitation. We go for the universal law of gravitation. We go for the universal law of gravitation and some of the applications based on that universal law of gravitation. First of all, we go for universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Here in this universal law of gravitation, here we know that what is the universal law of gravitation? If there are two masses separated by a distance r, then the force of attraction between the two masses is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So that F is equal to some constant, that is nothing but G m1 m2 by r square. So that what is the universal law of gravitation? The force of attraction between the two masses is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them and acts along the line joining the two masses. Here m1 attracts the m2 with a force of F12 and M2 attracts the M1 with a force of F21. Here F12 and F21 are equal and opposite. Whatever the force acting on the M1 is equal to the force acting on the M2. Force acting on the M1 is 10 Newton. Force acting on the M2 is also 10 Newton, but in opposite direction. F is equal to formula G m1 m2 by r square, where G is called universal gravitational constant. Why it is universal gravitational constant? G value is independent of the medium between the two masses. Whatever the medium, If it is the water or air, whatever the medium, what is the force acting between the G M1 M2 by R square? G value is same for the all type of the medium, so that G is called the universal gravitational constant. G is called the universal gravitational constant. Okay, here this is nothing but universal gravitational constant. Gravitational constant. This is called the universal gravitational constant. Okay, here G is equal to, here what is the SI unit and the dimension formula of the G? Here F is equal to some G M1 M2 by R square. G is equal to F R square by M1 M2. So that what is the SI unit? SI unit is nothing but here from the units and dimensions. In every exam, there must be minimum one questions based on the units and dimensions chapter. Here, if you know the every physical quantity, dimension formula and units, then we can easily do the one of the problem in every exam. Here, what is the SI unit of the universal gravitational constant? G is equal to F R square by M1 M2. F is nothing but force Newton. R square is nothing but meter square by, this is nothing but kg square. So that what is the SI unit? Newton meter square per kg square. What is the dimensional formula of capital G? Capital G is nothing but Fr square by M1 M2. Force is nothing but force M into A, that is nothing but what is the dimension formula? M L T to the power of minus 2 is the dimension formula of the force. R square is nothing but distance square L square by M1 into M2, that is nothing but M square. So that what is the dimensional formula of the G? M to the power of minus 1 L cube T to the power of minus 2 is the dimensional formula of the capital G, and SI unit is nothing but Newton meter square per kg square. Newton meter square per kg square, that is the SI unit. Here, universal gravitational constant is constant everywhere. It is independent of the medium. What is the G value is equal to the 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11. What is the unit? Newton meter square per kg square is the unit. Force between the two masses, gravitational force between the two masses, independent of the medium between the two masses. There is the air, force is the air. If it is the water, force is not changing. Here G is equal to the formula 6.67 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Vector form of force. Vector form of force is nothing but F bar is equal to G M1 M2 by R square into this force acts along the line joining the two masses. This force acts along the line joining the two masses, so that it is taken as R cap. Here R cap is the unit vector, that only unit vector means that having only direction and magnitude is equal to the one. In terms of R bar, F bar is equal to what is the formula? G M1 M2 by R square into R cap is nothing but R bar by R. Therefore, F bar is equal to the G M1 M2 by R cube into R bar. This is the force between the two masses in vector form. What is the force between the two masses? That is nothing but here force between the two masses F bar is equal to G M1 M2 by R cube into this is nothing but R bar. This is nothing but R bar. This is the force between the two masses. In vector form, what is the force between the two masses? This is nothing but G M1 M2 by R cube into R bar is the force between the two masses. Force between the two masses. Okay, here. Next. Here is the gravity. Here the force between the two masses between the two masses is independent of the medium between the force between the two masses. Here, this is the gravitational force. Here, gravitational force independent of the medium. First one, independent of the medium between the two bodies. Medium between two bodies. Medium between two bodies. Independent of the medium between two bodies. And independent of third mass, presence of the third mass. Independent of the presence of the third mass. For example, if there are two masses, here if it is a force between them is nothing but F. If there is a third mass, this force is independent of the third mass. There is a force between the, here this is the 1, 2, 3, F1, 2 is not changing. There is a force between 1 and 3. There is a force between 2 and 3, but the force between the 1 and 2 is independent. The force between the 1 and 2 is not changing due to the third mass, so that it is independent of third mass. Force between the two masses is independent of the third mass, and gravitational force is the central force. What is the meaning of central force? That acts between, that is acting center to center of the bodies. This is called the central force. Acts along the line joining the two bodies. That is acting center to center force, so that it is the central force. And here it is the conservative force. What is the conservative force? Work done in the round trip is equal to the 0. That is called the conservative force. Work done in the round trip is equal to the 0. Work done in the round trip is equal to, for example, starting from A and moving to the P and moving to the A, work done in the round trip is equal to 0. This is called the conservative force. Conservative force. And in the case of conservative forces, work done only depends on initial and final positions. Initial and final positions. Initial and final positions independent of the path followed by the body. In the case of conservative forces, it is independent of the path followed by the body, only depends on the initial and final positions. Initial and final positions. For example, if a body of mass M is taken from point A, moving in this direction, and finally it is placed at a height h, work done is equal, we can write it as mgh only. That means it is depends on the only initial and final positions independent of the path followed by the body. It is for the conservative force. Gravitational force is the conservative force. Now we go for the some of the applications based on the gravitational force. Here for example, we go for the one of the problem. Here for example, here there are two masses. M1 is equal to some 3 kg and M2 is equal to 4 kg placed along X and Y axis. X and Y axis at a distance of 1 meter from origin. 1 meter from origin. Then resultant force acting on 1 kg mass placed at origin. Here there are two masses, M1 is equal to 4 kg, M2 is equal to 4, M1 is equal to 3 kg, M2 is equal to 4 kg, placed along the X and Y axis at a distance of 1 meter from the origin. The resultant force acting on the 1 kg mass placed at the origin. Here simply we draw the diagram. Here this is nothing but x-axis, this is nothing but y-axis. There are two masses. Here this is nothing but 3 kg and this is nothing but 4 kg placed on the x and y axis at a distance of 1 meter and 1 meter. Now at the origin, we are placing 1 kg mass. Then what is the resultant force acting on the 1 kg mass? Here this 1 kg mass is attracted by the 1 kg mass is attracted by the 3 kg, and 1 kg mass is attracted by the 4 kg, attracted by the 4 kg. Here what is the force acting on the 1 kg due to the 3 kg? This is taken as some F1, some this is taken as F2. Here F1 is equal, F is equal to what is the formula? G M1 M2 by R square. F1 is equal to G into 3 by 3 into 1 by 1 square. F1 is nothing but 3G along x-axis. What is the direction of the force is acting? Along x-axis. Now we go for the F2. Here F2 is equal to also what is the formula? Some G M1 M3 by some R square. F2 is nothing but G into 1 into 4 by 1 square. F2 is nothing but what is the value? 4G. What is the direction? Along y-axis. Therefore, resultant force Fr bar, resultant force Fr bar is equal to, that is nothing but Fxi cap plus Fyj cap. F resultant force is nothing but some 3G I cap plus 4G J cap. What is the resultant force acting on the 1 kg? What is the magnitude? Here magnitude modulus of Fr bar is equal to the under root of Fx square plus Fy square. So that F resultant is equal to under root of 9G square plus, that is the 16G square. So that F resultant is nothing but, what is the answer? 5G. What is the resultant force acting? That is nothing but 5G. Sum, this is the resultant, that is nothing but 5G. And what is the angle making with x-axis? What is the angle making with the x-axis? Sum, that is taken as some alpha. What is the angle made by the resultant with x-axis? Tan alpha is equal. If it is the fx, and here if it is the fy, this is nothing but what is the value of 2. Tan alpha is equal to opposite by adjacent. So that therefore angle made by resultant with x-axis, with x-axis, tan alpha is nothing but fy by fx. With y-axis, that is the fx by fy. So the tan alpha is equal to fy is nothing but some 4G by, this is nothing but 3G cancel. Tan alpha is equal to 4 by 3. Therefore, alpha is nothing but 53 degrees with the x-axis. 4 by 3 is nothing but 53 degrees. Tan theta is nothing but 3 by 4. That is nothing but 37 degrees. Here this is the 53 degrees with the x-axis. With the x-axis. Okay. Now we go for the some of the applications. Here. If 3 particles are placed along at the 3 vertices of an equilateral triangle of side A, 3 particles each of mass m placed at the 3 vertices of an equilateral triangle. Then what is the resultant force acting any one of them? Then resultant force on any one of them. What is the resultant force on any one of them we want to find? Here this is some taken as first mass, second mass and third mass. Here we want to find the resultant force on the third mass. Here the third mass is attracted by the first mass Third mass is attracted by the first mass with a force of F1. Third mass is also attracted by the second mass. We are taking it a force of F2. And here, what is the angle between F1 and F2? This is the equilateral triangle, that is nothing but 60 degrees. So that we go for the vector. What is the resultant vector? R is equal to what is the formula? Under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta we are applying here. Here, F1 is equal to F2 is equal to what is the value? Gm square by A square, and theta is equal to 60 degrees. Here, F resultant is equal to under root of, what is the formula? F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. 2F1 F2 cos theta. But F1 is equal to the, what is the value? F2. F1 is equal to the F2. So that R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. If P is equal to Q, then what is the resultant? That is nothing but 2P cos theta by 2. Here also same. That is nothing but F resultant is nothing but 2F cos theta by 2. This is the resultant force. So that here F resultant is equal to 2F into cos 60 by 2 cos 30. F resultant is nothing but 2F into cos 30 is nothing but root 3 by 2. So that cancel. Therefore, F resultant is nothing but root 3F. That is the F resultant is nothing but root 3 into F is nothing but Gm square by A square. This is the resultant force acting on any one of the mass placed at the here. This is the one of the corner of the equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle. This is about the resultant force acting any one of them. Here, if forces are equal, if F1 is equal to F2 or P is equal to Q, if P is equal to Q, then R is equal to 2P cos theta by 2. If you know the values of theta is equal to 60 degrees, what is the value? Theta equal to 90, theta is equal to here. For example, if theta, here this is nothing but theta value, and this is nothing but resultant 2P cos theta by 2. Theta is equal to 60 degrees, then this is nothing but root 3P. Theta is equal to 90 degrees, cos 90 by 2, cos 45, 1 by root 2, so that this is nothing but root 2P. 120 degrees, cos 120 by 2, cos 60, 1 by 2, 2 and 2 cancel, this is nothing but what the value? P only. 180 degrees, cos 180 by 2, cos 90, that is equal to 0. That is equal to the 0. So that if there is a 60 degrees, that is the root 3P. If there is a 90 degrees, that is the root 2P. There is a 120 degrees, that is the P. 180 degrees, that is equal to the 0. If theta is equal to 0 degrees, then R is nothing but what is the value? 2P. R is nothing but P. Here in this way we can do the problems. If forces are equal, then 60 root 3P, 90 root 2P, 120P, and 180 is nothing but 0. Now for example, another one. If there is a square, if there is a square, if 4 masses, each of mass m placed at the 4 corners of a square of side A, then resultant force acting any one of them. Resultant force acting any one of them. Here this is the first one, second one, third one, and fourth one. We want to find what is the resultant force any one of them. Any one of them we want to find. What is the resultant force? Here we are taking the resultant force on the third one. We want to find the resultant force on third one. Third one is attracted by the second one with a force of F2. Third one is attracted by the force F4. Here, F2 is equal to the F4 is equal to the, what is the value? Gm1 M2 by R square gm square by, that is nothing but a square, gm square by a square. F2 is equal to F4 is equal gm square by a square, and theta is equal to the 90 degrees. Here if theta is equal to 90 degrees, here F1 is equal to F2. What is the formula? F resultant is nothing but 2F cos theta by 2. Theta is equal to 90. F24 is nothing but what is the value? Root 2F. F24 is nothing but what is the value? That is nothing but root 2F, because cos 90 by 2, 45 degrees. So the F24 is nothing but root 2 into F is nothing but gm square by a square. Gm square by a square. Here, what is the direction of the resultant force? F2 and F4 are perpendicular to each other and equal, so that resultant force exactly in between the F2 and F4. So that is making an angle of 45 degrees with the F2, 45 degrees with the F1. And this third mass is also attracted by the first one. Third mass is also attracted by the first one with a force of F1. And this distance is nothing but what is the value? Root 2a. This distance is nothing but what is the value? Root 2a. So that force due to the first one, force due to first mass, F1 is equal to, that is nothing but Gm1 m3 by r square. F1 is equal to Gm square by, this is nothing but 2a square, Gm square by 2a square. This is the 2, this is the 1. Here F24 and F1 are acting in the same direction. Here F24 and F1 are acting in the same direction. Therefore, F resultant is equal to F1 plus F24. Therefore, F resultant is equal F1 and F24 gm square by a square is the common, that is nothing but root 2 plus 1 by 2. What is the resultant force acting? Any one of them, that is nothing but root 2 plus 1 by 2. Root 2 plus 1 by 2. Here root 2 plus 1 by 2. This is the resultant force acting any one of them, that is the root 2, here root 2f plus that is nothing but f by 2. So that f is the common root 2 plus 1. Here these problems are also solving in the same method. Gravitation, electrostatics, gravitation, electrostatics and magnetism. Same method of solving. Here in the case of the forces, in the magnetism and electrostatic, there is a repulsive force is also there. But here only attractive force. What is the resultant force? We can do the problems in the same way. For example, 4 charges are placed at the 4 corners. In this problem, same problem, 4 charges are placed. Then what is the resultant force on any one of them? Same F into root 2 plus 1 by 2. In the case of the electrostatics, what is the F? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q square by A square. Q square by A square. In the magnetism also same. That is F into root 2 plus 1 by 2. F is nothing but mu naught m square by 4 pi. 4 pi. Here what is the formula for this? F is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into M1 M2 by D square. In the case of the magnetism, so that mu naught by 4 pi into M square into root 2 plus 1 by 2 in the case of the magnetism. Same problems, gravitation, electrostatics and magnetism based on the vectors. Okay, now we go for next application. Next application. For example, if there are two identical stars each of mass m, if there are two identical stars each of mass m are moving along the circular path of radius r, due to their mutual force of attraction. There are two identical masses, each of mass m are moving along the circular path due to their, here They move along the circular path of radius r due to their mutual force of attraction. Then velocity of each particle, velocity of each particle we want to find. Here there are two masses are moving along the circular path of radius r due to their mutual force of attraction, then velocity of each particle. Here any particle is in circular motion. One force is acting, that is called the centripetal force. Here centripetal force is not a self force, that is provided by the force present at that situation. Here two particles are in circular motion. So that here we are taking that here is the mass. Here the necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. Any body is in circular motion, centripetal force must be acting. That is provided by the force present at that situation. Force present at that situation. For example, here if a stone is tied at the one end of the string and it is rotated in the circular path so that centripetal force is acting, the necessary centripetal force provided by the tension in the string, necessary centripetal force provided by the tension in the string. For example, here this is the earth, moon is revolving around the earth in circular orbit. Here circular orbit means centripetal force must be acting. The necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. Necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. For example, this is the nucleus. Electron is revolving around the nucleus in circular orbit. The necessary centripetal force provided by the electrostatic force. Necessary centripetal force provided by the electrostatic force. And here, for example, in any circular motion, that centripetal force provided by the force present at that situation. Force present at that situation. Here, for example, if a car is moving along the circular path of radius r, the necessary centripetal force provided by the frictional force. Necessary centripetal force provided by the frictional force. So that any body is in circular motion. Any body in circular motion, centripetal force must be acting. That is provided by the force present at that situation. In the previous problem, here also two particles are moving in the circular motion. The necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force between the two masses. So that here the necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. Centripetal force is nothing but what is the formula? Mv square by r is equal to g m1 m2 by this is nothing but distance k. So that mv square by r is equal to two particles having the same mass gm square by here d is nothing but what the d value. Here d is nothing but what the value 2r. So that is nothing but 4r square. Here r and r cancel, m and m cancel. Therefore, velocity is nothing but under root of gm by 4r. Velocity is nothing but what is the velocity of each particle? Under root of gm by r. If you want to find angular velocity, what is the angular velocity? That is also centripetal force is equal to the gravitational. Mr omega square is equal to gm square by this is nothing but 4r square, m and m cancel. So that omega is equal to under root of gm by this is nothing but 4r. What is the angular velocity? We go for the mr omega square. Or if it is the linear velocity, mv square by r. So that what is the velocity of each particle, each mass each mass that is nothing but under root of gm by 4 are two particles having the same mass and say so that both particles having the same velocity. Masses are different, velocities are also different. Here same part, same mass, so that they are moving along the circle about the center of mass exactly at the middle of that one, so that here is the. For example, if it is the same problem, but masses of the stars are different. Next application. Here, if two stars of masses m1 comma m2, if two stars of masses m1 comma m2 separated by a distance are moving along the circle about their center of mass. About their center of mass. If two stars of masses m1 and m2 separated by a distance d are moving along the circle about their center of mass, then angular velocity of each part, angular velocity omega of each particle, we want to find what is the angular velocity of the each particle we want to find. There are two stars having the masses m1 comma m2. Here there are two stars of masses m1 comma m2. Here two stars of masses m1 comma m2. Here this is nothing but mass m1, and here this is nothing but mass m2. They are diametrically opposite. Here gravitational force is the central force, so that they are diametrically opposite. And what is the distance between the two masses? That is nothing but distance is nothing but they are moving about their center of mass. They are moving about their center of mass, so that it is taken as the distance. Here it is taken as distance r1, and here distance of center of mass from the second mass is nothing but taken as r2. They are moving in the circular path due to their mutual force of attraction about their center of mass, Now we want to find for the angular velocity. Here also the necessary centripetal force acting on the m1 is provided by this necessary centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force. Necessary centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force. Necessary centripetal force, we want to find what is the angular velocity. This is nothing but here on the m1 we are taking actually what is the formula? mr omega square is equal g m1 m2 by some d square. Here we are taken as some centripetal force on first one is equal to the gravitational force. This is nothing but m1 r1 omega square is equal gm1 m2 by this is nothing but what is the value d square. So that sum this is taken as some equation number 1 gm1 m2 by this square. This is taken as the equation number 1. Now we want to find R1 value. R1 is nothing but distance of center of mass from the M1. Here, distance of center of mass from M1. Here, what they, for example, here this is nothing but M1 and this is nothing but M2. If you want to find the distance of center of mass from the M1, here some this is nothing but M2 separated by a distance d. If you want to find the distance of center of mass from M1, M1 is taken at the origin. So that what are the coordinates of M1? 0, 0. What are the coordinates of M2? some d comma 0. What is the coordinates of it? So the distance of center of mass from M1, here some, this is nothing but the center of mass. What is the distance of center of mass M1? So that here x cm is equal to, what is the formula? M1 x1 plus M2 x2 by M1 plus M2. Here this distance of center of mass taken as the R1 is equal to the M2 d by M1 plus M2 is nothing but distance of center of mass from the M1. What is the distance of center of mass from the M2? That is nothing but M1 d by M1 plus M2. This value is substituted in equation number 1. Equation number 1 implies here M1, R1 is nothing but M2 d by M1 plus M2 into omega square is equal to G M1 M2 by, this is nothing but D square. Here M1 M2 M1 M2 cancel, so that omega square is equal G into M1 plus M2 by, this is nothing but what is the value dq. Therefore, angular velocity is nothing but under root of g m1 m2 by dq. This is nothing but the angular velocity g m1 plus m2 by dq. That is the formula. Okay, this is about the angular velocity. Angular velocity. In this way, we can do the problems. Okay, so that what is the concept? When any body is in circular motion, that centripetal force must be acting. That is provided by the force present at that situation. Force present at that situation here. For example, here there are 4 particles are along the 4 sides of a square. Here 4 sides of a square of side A. 4 particles each of mass m are placed at the 4 corners of a square of side A. Now they are moving along the circular path. Due to their mutual force of attraction. Then what is the angular velocity of each particle and what is the time period of each particle? Now they are moving. Now they are moving along the circular path due to their mutual force of attraction. Here they are moving along the circular path. Then we want to find what is the angular velocity of each particle. What is the angular velocity of each particle? Here also, if the system is in circular motion, centripetal force is acting. The necessary centripetal force provided by the force present at that situation. Here if you want to take this the particle 1, particle 2, particle 3, particle 4. Here the necessary centripetal force this is nothing but the some radius r. Here the necessary centripetal force provided on the particle 3 is, that is nothing but resultant force acting on the third particle. What is the resultant? Here the necessary centripetal force on the third particle provided by the necessary the resultant gravitational force acting on the third particle. Here the necessary centripetal force, that is nothing but m r omega square is equal. What is the resultant force acting any one of the particle in the square? That is nothing but what is the formula? Gm square by a square into, that is nothing but root 2 plus 1 by 2. Already you can find that value. Resultant force acting. Here this is the resultant force acting any one of the particle. This is nothing but here what is the resultant force acting? Gm square by a square into root 2 plus 1 by 2. So that here also we are using the same formula. So that, but what is the R value? Here R is nothing but total diagonal is there. That is nothing but root 2a. Here R is nothing but root 2a by 2, that is equal to a by root 2. What is the R value? That is nothing but a by root 2. So that m r is nothing but a by root 2 omega square is equal gm square by a square into root 2 plus 1 by 2. Here m and m cancel. Okay, so that omega square is equal to root 2 gm by a cube into 2 is the LCM, 2 root 2 plus 1, 2 root 2 plus 1. Therefore, angular velocity is equal to under root of gm by a cube into the root 2 is taken numerator. This is nothing but 2 root 2 plus 1 by. This is also nothing but root 2. This is the angular velocity. This is nothing but angle. If you want to find what is the time period is nothing but 2 pi by omega. 2 pi by omega. So that time period T is nothing but 2 pi into under root of a cube by gm into root 2 by 2 root 2 plus 1. 2 root 2 plus 1. In this way, we can find the time period. 2 root 2 plus 1. Here, this is about the time period. So that when you want to find the angular velocity, then we go for simply the necessary centripetal force provided by the force present at that situation. Here, for example, if a particle of mass m, this is the planet of mass capital M. If a particle of mass m or if a satellite of mass m revolving around the planet in the circular orbit, the force of attraction is inversely proportional to the if force of attraction is inversely proportional to the r to the power of n, then time period t is proportional to time period is proportional to what is the value. Here the force of attraction between the two masses. We know the Kepler's third law. What is the Kepler's third law? T square is proportional to r cube. When it is T square is proportional to r cube, F is inversely proportional to the r square, then T square is proportional to r cube. If F is inversely proportional to the r to the power of n, then what is the time period we want to find? What is the time period we want to find? Here. So gravitational force F is proportional to given that r by n. That means F is equal to some constant k by r to the power of n. This is the gravitational force is nothing but k by r to the power of n. Here, necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. This is the orbital radius is taken as the r. So the necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. Here, what is the necessary centripetal force? Here, necessary centripetal force provided by the necessary centripetal force provided by the gravitational force. What is the necessary centripetal force? Here, necessary centripetal force is nothing but here some mr omega square is equal to k by r to the power of n. So that m omega square is equal to k by r to the power of n plus 1. So that omega square is nothing but 4 pi square by t square is equal to k by m into r to the power of n plus 1. Therefore, t square is proportional to r to the power of n plus 1. T is proportional to r to the power of n plus 1 by 2. So that if f is inversely proportional to the n, if f is inversely proportional to the n, then t is directly proportional to r to the power of n plus 1 by 2. If f is inversely proportional to r square, then t is proportional to r to the power of 2 plus 1 by 2. T is proportional to r to the power of 3 by 2. R t square is proportional to r cube. In this way, we can do the problem based on the time period. F is proportional to r to 1 r to the power of minus n. Then t is proportional to r. T square is proportional to r to the power of n plus 1. T square is proportional to r to the power of n plus 1. Okay. Next one. Here, for example, Here, for example, here if a particle of mass m is placed at a distance some d from the end of a uniform rod of mass m and length L, and mass m and length L. Then, what is the gravitational force acting between the two masses? What is the gravitational force acting between the two masses we want to find? Here we want to find, if there are the 2 point masses, then F is equal to, what is the formula? G m1 m2 by R scale. If they are the 2 point masses, that is nothing but G m1 m2 by R scale. But here these are not the point. Second, first one is not the point mass. So that first of all we are taking the point mass. Here point mass means here we are taking a small element in this one. Here this element of width dx, this element is at a distance x from the small m. Then force between dm and m. So that small force, that is the df, is equal to g into dm into m by, what is the distance? X scale. Here what is the dm value? Here what is the dm value? Here we know that for L length, mass is nothing but capital M. For dx length, what is the mass? For dx length, what is the mass? That is dm is equal to m by L into dx. M by L into dx. So that df is equal to g into m by L into dx into m by, this is nothing but x scale. So that df is equal g capital M small m by L into some dx by here x. We want to find the total force, so that we go for the integration. So that here integral, here we go for integral df is equal to gmm by L into integral x to the power of minus 2 dx. What are the limits? That is from d to d plus L. That is from d to d plus L. Here integral x to the power of n dx is nothing but x to the power of n plus 1 by n plus, this is the 0 to f. F is equal g mm by L into, here this is nothing but integral x to the power of minus 2 plus 1 by minus 2 plus 1, limits are d to d plus L. F is equal g mm by L into this is nothing but minus 1 by x d to d plus L, So that here force F is equal gmm by L into, here if it is minus is here if the upper and lower limits are reversed, the minus becomes to the positive, so that this is the 1 by x into d to d plus L. So that force F is nothing but gmm by L into upper limit minus lower limit, so that F is equal gmm by L into, what is the LCM? D into d plus L is the LCM, d plus L minus d. So that here d and d cancel and L cancel. Therefore, force F is equal to formula gmm by d into d plus L. So that if the extended mass is there, then we go for the integration. First of all, we are taking the small length element. After that, F is equal to, what is the formula? gmm by d into d plus L. That is the force between the two. One is the rod, another one is the small point mass. Then F is equal to gmm by d into d plus L. That is the force between the two bodies. Next application. For example, if there are two spheres made of the same material, two identical spheres made of the same material. What the radius of each one is nothing but r. Two spheres made of same material, made of made of the same material, having the same size, same size. Then force between the two spheres is proportional to what the value we want to find. Here we know that force between the two spheres F is equal to formula G m1 m2 by some d square. So that force is equal to G into this is nothing but G m1 m2, that is nothing but same material same size gm square by that is nothing but d square is nothing but 2r whole square. So that here F is equal to G into mass is given, mass is nothing but volume into density 4 by 3 pi r cube into here some this is the density whole square by this is nothing but 4r square. So that F is proportional to r to the power of 6 by r square. That implies F is proportional to r to the power of 4. Why force is proportional to the r to the power of 4. The two spheres are kept in contact, made of the same material having the same radius. F is proportional. Actually, F is inversely proportional to r scale. But two spheres are kept in contact. F is proportional to r to the power of 4. F is proportional to r to the power of 4. Next, for example, there are three spheres, three identical spheres, each of mass m. Three identical spheres, each of mass m, placed in such way that three identical spheres, each of mass m, placed in such way that each one touches the other. Placed in such way that each one touches the other. Three identical spheres. Here, then resultant force on any one of them. What is the resultant force on any one of them? We want to find. Here, first one, second one, third one. Here, third one is attract. Here we want to find this. Here, this is just like a equilateral triangle. Third one is attracted by the first one with a force of F1. Third one is attracted by the second one with a force of F2. And here angle is nothing but 60 degrees. Here what is the side? Here this is the equilateral triangle of side. This is nothing but what is the value? This is nothing but 2r. What is the side of the equilateral triangle? That is nothing but 2r. Here F1 is equal to F2, that is nothing but actually formula some gm1 m2 by some d square. So that is nothing but gm square by d is nothing but 4r square. F1 is equal and theta is nothing but 60 degrees. Therefore, F resultant is nothing but what is the value? Root 3f. F resultant is nothing but root 3f. F resultant is equal to root 3 into gm square by 4r square. Root 3 into gm square by 4r square. This is the resultant force acting any one of them. Resultant force acting any one of them. Next one. Here, for example, here if a mass, if a sphere of mass capital M, of mass capital M, is divided into two parts. Is divided into two parts of mass M and M minus M. Then, for what division of the two parts, force between them is maximum. For what division of two parts, then force between them is the maximum. Force between them is maximum. Force between them is maximum. We want to find what the force between them is maximum for what division. They are placed at some distance. Then what? For example, it is divided into some two parts. Here one of the part is nothing but m, another part is nothing but some m minus m placed at a distance of some r. Now, what is the force between the two masses? Here, force between the two masses is equal to formula G m1 m2 by some r square. So that F is equal to G into small m into m minus m by r square, m minus m by r square. If F tends to maximum, then df by dm maximum or minimum values are differentiated. Those are the constant values, so that they are differentiated, then they become to 0. So that here also some we go for the df by dm, that is nothing but g by r square into d by dm into small m into capital M minus m square. We are differentiating. But df by dm equals 0, that equal g by r square into small m into capital M is nothing but capital M minus m square is differentiated. That is therefore m minus 2m is equal to 0. M is equal to m. Therefore, what is the small m value is nothing but m by 2. So that if that sphere is exactly divided into two equal parts, then force between them is maximum, or m by capital M is nothing but what is the value? 1 by 2. 1 by capital M by capital M is nothing but 1 by 2. So the force between them is maximum when the two parts having the equal mass. Or small m by total mass is nothing but 1 by 2. Small m1 is to m2 is equal to 1 is to 1. Small m by capital M is equal to 1 is to 2. 1 is to 2. Here, for example, here it is the total mass m is divided into two parts m1 and m2. Here, at what division force between them is the maximum in this also. Here, for example, if m is equal to 10 kg, m is nothing but 10. That is divided into 5 and 5, 6 and 4, 7 and 3, 8 and 2, 9 and 1. 5 into 5, 25, 24, 21, 16, 9. So that here force is the maximum, here force is the minimum. So that for what division of the M1 and M2 force is maximum, here if capital M is nothing but n into here mass is taken M1 is equal here if m1 is equal to m2 is equal, that is nothing but nm by 2, then force is maximum. If here when it is minimum, that is the 9 and 1, that means if m1 is equal to n minus 1 into m and m2 is equal to 1 into m, then f is minimum. Here f is proportional to m1 into m2. F max by f minimum is equal to m1 m2 in the first case by m1 m2 in the second case, m1 m2 in the second. So that n m into nm, that is equal to n square m square by 4 by, this is nothing but n minus 1 into m square. Here m square cancel. Therefore, f max by f minimum is equal to n square by 4 into n minus 1. Here, these are the some of the applications based on the gravitational force. Physics is very easy. Here in this class, we are mainly using the centripetal force concept. Any body is in circular motion, centripetal force is acting, that is provided by the force present at this situation. In the gravitation, which force is present? That is nothing but gravitational force. Okay, thank you. In the next section, we go for the some more applications based on the force. Okay, thank you.